Hello there. Hi all. Thank you for joining my channel. Today we are talking about different ways to look at information in your tool of choice. I've always been a rows and columns kind of girl. I enjoyed math class, categorizing things like that. So I've always thought of things within rows and columns. So when you look at a database, each of the rows is a separate line of data that usually is all tied to the same sort of subject. And then each of the rows is describing the piece of data that is in there. So I've always thought that way. That is kind of the way that I approach life and try to organize things, like this is school stuff and, all my kids' names and those types of things for them. And then also like client names, tying them together in different ways. But that doesn't work for everybody. I've worked with some really talented creatives that cannot think in rows and columns, and they prefer to see things with visualization or in rows, or things like images and galleries and stuff like that. So one of the things that I really love about utilizing Airtable is that you can break apart all of these data elements and see them in a way that actually works for you and your team. So if your team needs to see different pieces of a data row and sees them in a certain way, that is totally possible. And one of the awesomest things is that you can even look at the data different ways and find out different things just by the way that you're looking at it. So that is kind of what we're going to be covering today. A beginner's look at how the views in Airtable really make it one of the more powerful tools out there in the small business world. If you haven't heard about me already, I'm Anna of Anna Simple Solutions. And my team likes to turn small business chaos into simple systems, utilizing ClickUp and Airtable as our two ideal tools as the central business hub. If you want to learn more about what I'm doing and how I am utilizing these tools in small businesses, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, follow, suggest what you'd like to know about these tools or about project management or systems in general, and I'll make sure that we have a future episode talking about those. All right, so let's get into it. So here we are in Airtable. And I'm going to start off on the rows at this point so we can kind of see how Airtable is built together. These are the Lego blocks when you're building a database. So I'm using my executive hub here, like I mentioned, and all of these rows have different pieces of data that follow the path that's set out by these columns. So it's the name of the resource, the link to the resource, explanation. All of these things are all based on this master column here, which is the item that we are looking at within this. Now, we are doing the rows and the columns in here, but one of the awesome things about Airtable is that you can actually have drop-down menus here where you can determine what the data is that's in that row. And we will use this because this is very powerful when we start to look at our views in here. I usually call this the raw data view here. And we're going to start off by using the same view, but organizing it by category. So one of the awesome things is that you are able to use these little buttons up here to be able to filter or sort in different ways. So we have this quick links by business category in here, and you'll notice that some of these items up here are highlighted, and that just means that this is filtered. So there is a filter in here, so we're only showing basic ones that are client facing quick links. So these are links that are shared with my clients or your clients, and we want an easy way to access them, so we have that in here like this. You can also share this in a public view so people can go in here and choose which ones they want. But that's something that we'll cover in a different video. So this is where we have chosen the type of resource using the view, and then we've also grouped it. Grouping can be very powerful to be able to see everything within their specific groups or categorizations or what have you within the links here. So here we have business category of bio headshot website. We have specific offers. We have Zoom links, everything that a client may need, but is in a list and categorized so you're not just searching through every single one. You can do also things, you can sort by different ways, types of resources, business categories, etc. We don't need to do it in here. But in order to create a new view, you can duplicate an existing view or just go down here and create a new view utilizing these. I'm going to do this and call this the test view. And you can actually change permissions on each of the views as well. You can make it a personal view, a locked view, or collaborative, meaning anyone can go in that is part of your workspace and make changes to it. So we're going to create a new view. We're going to call this test view like it is here. And let's go in and I want to see all of the Zoom links. So just the Zoom links. So I'm going to go and add condition where the business category is, and I'm going to go down and find Zoom links right there. So this is now only showing the Zoom links. Actual service offer. So this is a field that probably isn't needed in this specific view. So I'm going to go in here where you can hide fields, and I'm going to actually take that one out. Actual service offer name, we do not need that. So in here, we're only seeing the Zoom links. I'd probably change this name to Zoom links or something like that. That makes it easier to have this available for them. So that is that. I'm going to pause real quick and then delete this, and we will talk about the other views. So I've gone over to one of my other templates, which is my business networking and nurturing template. And the reason I did this is because we have a lot of the different types of views, and I can kind of show you within the template itself how to use those views and how they are helpful when you are sifting through all of your contacts and all of your possible leads that you've had conversations with. If you are interested in this template, you can click the link below to see the templates that we have available for free and for sale. And please let me know if you have any requests on that front, because we are definitely want to build things that are helpful to those that would use it. So here we have business networking and nurturing template. We've started off on the grid view here. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the business network form. So we have forms which basically can be made. They're specific views, but they can be made for other people to fill them out. So think about the time that it would save for someone to actually fill in a form if they were going to meet with you, or that you wanted them as part of your network and you said, hey, can you just put this information in so I have it and there's no mistakes, when you pass it through a couple people, have the telephone game and sometimes mistakes can happen. And so this is a really good way to go straight to the source. So within here, you'll see that there's fields on the sides and they can be added. So you can actually drag them to the form itself like that. And we're not going to go too deep into forms, but it's just something that you can do. And then you can actually drag them off as well and create it in a way that they would, the information that you want from them. And basically, once someone fills it out, it adds a line within the data here. And so you have it without having to enter it yourself. So you can do that. You can have different types of forms that fill the whole thing in. If you have different types of contacts, it's a really powerful thing. I'm going to go over to chats and connections because I want to show you the power of the gallery view as well as the Kanban view and the calendar. So what we have here are some chats and connections. I wouldn't consider them my network yet. Perhaps that they would be, but it really kind of depends on the network connection levels. So here we have the grid view with all of the details laid out here, then their name, their connection levels, date first contacted, etc. I'm going to view this in a gallery view because there is a lot of power that can happen when you have images associated. I can also see this being a really good tool if you are utilizing Airtable as a way to send out social media, to be able to see the social media images and making sure that everything aligns the way that you would like. So this is also a very powerful way to say that. What's also really cool in the gallery view is that you can customize it to only show specific things within there. So if you want to have comments shown up, you can click that. You can choose the type of contact, last modified time. So you have some information as for that. So that's pretty awesome in there. And you can also see it says the image field, you can use a picture in there. You could also choose to not have an image field, but I particularly like the image field because it's really helpful to, especially when you're talking about people, to identify face with names. You have a current client field view here, which there's no one that is a current client on my list, so that is blank. And then I have a Kanban board. So Kanban boards are typically used for moving certain projects through stages, but it's also really useful if you're organizing data in any particular way. So I have mine in first, second, and third level. So first level contacts are those that I've had many conversations with. Second level are those that I've had conversations with on social media. And third level are people that I want to connect with but have not yet. Or I've only connected with once and I need to follow up with. So I am able to see within here what level they are just based on the way that they're organized. And of course we have the past clients here. So if you end up working with someone, you can always drag and drop them over to past clients or move them from second level to first level, etc. And it automatically changes the information in the background. So if you go back to grid view, all of these are updated as per what we see on the Kanban. All right, one more view I want to show you, which is really useful if you utilize dates at all or you track dates within your databases, and that is the calendar view. So what we have here is these individual contact records, and the date, it's organized by date of your contact with them or date of your discovery call. You can actually choose based on different date fields. Up here, you can say using date field of, I have date field of coffee chat, but you also do last modified, date first contacted, any date fields that are in here, you are able to add. I also want to just kind of let you know that date ranges and multiple date fields are available in the Pro plan. So if you want multiple date fields shown on the same calendar, like starting first contacted date and date of work, so you're measuring in between, that is on the Pro plan, which if you do not have, you don't need it in order to utilize this template. But if you do want it, then it is something worth considering, and it's actually pretty affordable. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of a really good start on how to utilize the views within Airtable. If you are relatively new to this tool, I encourage you to utilize one of the templates here or your own template, or look into the free templates that Airtable has available, which is really useful, and they have some really good ones in there, and start to look at the different views and start to adjust them so they work better for you. Play with these tools because that's the only way that you're going to get better. So if you are not like me and you don't see in columns and rows, Airtable is a really great tool to be able to see things in other ways and be able to share that with your team or your clients or whoever needs to see this information. Again, thank you. I'm Anna from Anna Simple Solutions. Always great to have you here. And as always, keep it simple.